So we are going to look more details on diff and span. Okay. Previously we looked the very simple diff and span, and let's look what is diff and what is span. Some of the people mentioned that diff is related with the clock and span is related with the inline elements. So block elements, it means block elements add a line break before and after them. Diff is a block element. Okay. Line break means we have break before and after. The other block elements we will look at more details on the table, and we already know about HR. HR is the horizontal rule. Heading. Heading is also a block element. So after you create a heading, it will go to the next line automatically. List is also another block element. After you create a list, you will go to the next line. Key, paragraph, and so on. Inline elements means it do not break the text before and after. So span is an inline element. And most of the HTML elements are inline. For example, A, if you look at the first example about the pattern, if you look at the pattern, you will see that every of this one is in the same line, because it is the inline. We have A. It is inline because it does not go to the next line after we close the tag. The diff is a logical division within a page. If you look at some pages, you may have a partial kind of block, something like this one. So you can create this as a div. So it is a block style element, and we usually use with the CSS. CSS is the style sheet. Now let's see. You can see from this example the difference between div and span. Okay, if you look at this one, div is a kind of block like this, and we have the style with the font size is 24 and the color is red. So if you look at this attribute, the style attribute, it can have a lot of information. For example, the font size, the color, or maybe the background or other things. For this one, I cannot teach you those things because it's too many. Okay, so I just put some important keywords here. And then, it can be separated by semicolon in the value of this attribute. Align, we can put this as the center of the web. Now, this is a div. So you can see this is the result, div example. What about the span? So I have one paragraph. And then in the text, I want to emphasize something, or I want to change something. I want to put this text only attached with the red color, but meanwhile the remaining still in the original. So this one is, it is in the original form, and then only attached. Now we have a span. So we need to make span to start with some more attributes. For example, I want to pick it as a red color. Okay, then you need to mention that this is a span. We can define the style with the color red, and then the font width is bold, like this. So the span tag is the inline style element, and it is useful for modifying a specific portion of text. So if you have a long text and you want to just mention the design in partially, so you can use span. Do not create a separate area or paragraph in the document. So it's very useful with the CSS, especially if you want to make some different style on particular part of the paragraph. Okay, I think this example is the same with the previous one. We have the span. Okay, the span is the style is in the color, and then the font width is bold. This is another kind of span. So the span we want to modify only the word test, and the size will be 32, and the font width will be in the bold. So you can see the result is something like this. Yeah, that's about the very brief of HTML about the body, and almost tag are covered in this section. Now let's discuss about tables, because our department focus on the data analytics, so it's important to understand how to create tables. You know, tables, yeah, it is a kind of spreadsheet, and yeah, we have the column and we have the row. So tables represent tabular data, and a table consists of one or several rows, and each row has one or more columns. Tables comprise of several core texts. We will start with the table with this symbol, the triangle bracket, and we need to close the table with the triangle bracket with the slash table, and we need to define the row. TR means the table row, and TD is the tabular data. Tables should not be used for layout. And yeah, we are going to use CSS floats and positioning styles instead. So I will not discuss a lot of CSS because it is more about the design. But later on, I will teach you how we can just adopt some design. So you don't need to make a good design by yourself. You can just embed the existing design. So the table is to start and end of the table. TR is to start and end of a row, and TD is to start and end of a cell in a row. Okay, so it is a cell. Now let's see this one. I don't have the image. Maybe you will see something blank on this part, but let's just try it. Let me make the name as table example.html. So you will not see anything here, even though it is a table. Why? It is a table, but you cannot see anything. In order to see, yeah, you need to put more attributes. Let's say in this case, I will put border equals to 1. Then you will see it is a table. And you will see in this table, yeah, I will make the cell spacing on cell padding. Yeah, we will check later what is 1. The border equals to 1. So I make the line as the border. And then I have TR. So what is TR? It is the table row. We have 3 rows. So there will be 1, 2, and 3 TR. And then there are 2 columns. So in the 1 row, there are 2 columns, TD, TD. Okay, so there are 2 tabular data, or there are 2 cells. The first cell is an image. It is an image src. And then the other cell is a reference. So we can also do the reference for a file. Let's say I want to open the PowerPoint. So if you put the file in your server, then you can get the file into your computer. So at this moment, we don't connect to any server, so of course it is not working. So this is the first row. What about the second row? The second row is this one. Okay. The same with the first row, and this is the third row. We can create a complete HTML tables. The complete HTML table means table rows split into 3 semantic sections. So there are 3 semantic sections. The first is header, and then we have footer, and we have body. So this is 3, 1, 2, and 3. T head denotes the table header, and we use the th instead of td. So th means the table header, td means the tabular data. T body, this is to indicate the table row that contain the every data. T foot denotes the table footer, but comes before the T body. And we have the column group or column to define the columns, most often used to set the column widths. Let's see with this one. Okay, let me open this to the, yeah. So this is a table, and the border is 1. Now we have the column group. The column group means it defines the columns, so about the size of the columns, not anything about the columns that we want to define. In this case, yeah, we just want to define the style. So the width is 100%. And then we have the T head. So T head is the header. And if you look at the result, it is the header. So the header will be in the center and it will be bold. And then we need to define the footer. The footer here is the end of the table. And then we have body. So those two are the body. So the first body is the TR. Okay. If you look at this one, the TR, we have TD. This is the first TD, and then this is the second TD. It means there are two columns. The next TR, we have the first TD and we have the second TD. So it means we have two columns. Okay. So this is the result. In order to make this complete table, the structure should be like this one. Now, if we put the footer after the body, is it possible? Actually, okay, I think this now is not a big problem. Okay. So because the HTML now it gets more robust. Obviously, if you put the footer after the body, so you cannot see the footer. So this is the header, this is the footer, and last comes the body with the data. If it is the header, then it will be shown in the bold and in the center. This is about the column that you want to define. Although the footer is before the data, but it will be displayed in the last section. Okay. So by the default, header text is bold and center. We can have nested tables. So it means a table inside another table. So table data or cells TD can contain nested tables. So tables within tables. I have a table, and inside this row, okay, the first row, I have one cell. I have the second cell. In the second cell, I want to create another table. So this is a table, and in this table there are one row, and this row have two data. Okay, the result would be something like this one. You can try with this one. Nested table. maybe I need to make the to make it clear. Let's say border equals to 5. Okay, so you can see now this is the table, and then there is a table inside the table. And for this kind of table, there are two important attributes. For the first, in the first table that I mentioned to you, we have the cell spacing and we have the cell padding. So the cell spacing means I want to have some space between the cell. It means, yeah, it defines the empty space between the cells. So if the number cell spacing is high, it means the space between the cell is high. Cell padding means the space, the empty space around the cell content. So I need to know what is the space from the text to the nearest border. So let's see this one. We have the table of cells. Okay, you can see the first part is table cells. This is the title, and then the body. We have the table cell spacing. What is cell spacing? It is the space between the cell. Okay, this is the space between the cell. So the cell spacing is 15 and the cell padding is 0. So cell padding means the space from the text to the border. Because it is 0, so it is very close to this border. The second table, we have the cell spacing is 0, but the cell padding is 10. It means the space between this text and the border is 10, but the space between the cell is 0. I hope you understand the difference between cell spacing and cell padding. Because when you create table, usually they will create this attribute. And the other thing that you may need to know is about the column and the row span. The column span, so table cells also have two other important attributes. It is the column span and the row span. The column span defines how many columns the cell occupies. And the row span defines how many rows the cell occupies. Let's see this one. I have two rows. And the first row, there are two cells. But the second row, I only have one cell. So it means in the second row, I want to merge the column 1 and column 2. Row span, I have two rows, but I have two rows and two columns. But for the first column, I want to merge the two rows. But the second column, just split the row. Now, we can say this is the column span equals to 1. Okay. The column span is 1. Column span is 1. And for this one, the column span is 2. It means there are 2 columns and we want to make it as 1. For this one, the row span is 2. So there are 2 rows, but I want to make it as 1. And the row span 1, it means the row is 1. Now let's see with this example. Okay, what does it mean by this? So we have the cell spacing is 0. Okay, border is 1. TR. Okay, the first TR is this one. So I make the class equals to 1. Yeah, I think we don't need at this moment. Yeah, just don't care about this one. I just want to show that this is the first row, second row, and the third row. So it is the class 1, class 2, and class 3. Now, in the first row, you can see there is one TD, which is cell 1, 1, and then the cell 2, 1 is a merge of 2 columns. We put the column span equals to 2. For the class number 2 or the TR number 2, so this is the TR number 2. Now you will see TD is 1. Okay, this is the cell, and then we have the row span 2. It means 2 rows has been merged as 1, and then the next will be the third column. Okay, so it means in the class 2 or in the second row, we have 3 TD. We have 3 columns. What about the last row? In the last row, we have 2 TD. Why? So once you specify this merge, you do not need to specify again for the next row. It means we have only 2 TD in the third row or in the class number 3. So you can see here is only cell 1, 3 and cell 2, 3. So cell 2, 2 has been merged previously. Okay, so this is a very small example for the table. But later on, when you have a more complex table, so you can figure out what is the meaning by a row span and what is the meaning by a column span. Okay, so maybe the color can be seen like this one. So next is about forms. Okay. It's also another important part for HTML, because whenever you go to HTML, you need to fill in something. For example, you need to log in. You need to fill your ID. You need to fill your password. in order to enter the website. So we need to use forms. You need to use some kind of data to enter your web page. And the form are the primary methods for gathering data from site visitors. And it creates a form block with this kind of tag, form. For example, we can use this kind of form. A form will have a name, and a form will need a kind of method, and also we need to have an action. So an action means once you click login information, so whenever you click submit to this one, then it will connect to the database. So because this is the first part, will not connect to the database, but this action needs to be ready for any process after we click. We will learn later about the methods. There are two kind of method, which is get and post method. The action means the attribute tells where the form data should be sent. So there are some attributes that we need to understand in the form. First is input. It is a single line text input fields. So the input, I want to input text. It means I want to input any letters, A, B, C, D, or maybe numbers that will be in the string format. So this is the input variable name. So this is, you will know that, okay, this means that this input will be about the first name. And this is the initial value. This is the text field. Single line, it means only one line. But you can also input many lines. We can input multiple lines. So if we have the multi lines, we need to use text area. So in the text area, it will create multiple lines. Hidden. Hidden means it is a variable that you will not see in the body of the HTML, but later you will need this one to connect with the JavaScript. So we will learn more after the mid exam with the hidden. Reset. It means when you insert any text into the form and you do not want to submit those information, so you can reset. It means everything will be deleted. Well, let's see. This is a simple one. So yeah, we have two input, and this is text. Let's say AABB. Okay. I don't have any submit button because we are not in that state. So I just put the reset form. If you click reset, then everything will be deleted. So it is a form. It is a form, and then we need to put the text first name, and the input will be a type of text, and the variable later will be the first name. So we will check what is the meaning by this variable name later. And we have also the another input, and another input is text, and the variable name will be last name. If you put this as hidden, okay, let's suppose I make as hidden, then you will not see any input. So it depends on your type here. So there are some values for this type. We will see. So the last one is the input type reset. Okay, so we learn about text, hidden, and reset. Reset means you will delete all the text in the form. Now let's see if we use the text area. If we use the text area, so in the text area means you can have multiple lines. This is a complaint about the website that you show to us. Okay. So it means, yeah, you can put many lines. And then you can reset. So the reset, you just have the default value. So what is this default value? You can see here, add title, okay, and it is a form. So in the form, we have a description as the first text. BR, it means we go to the next line. And we have the text area. So this text area, we can define how many rows do you have. In this case, we have 5 rows and we have 50 columns. So it means there are 50 letters in the columns wise. And this is a description. And okay, this is the original text. Enter description here. So if you want to reset, then you can just use the input type reset. We have a field set. Okay. Oh, I didn't explain. Okay, let's see about the field set. For a field set, you can have some more information about the form. In this case, I want to define this field set only for the client details. So this form is only for the client, and it contains of 2 input. So the first input is name and the other input is phone. Because no information, we can put like this one, phone, name. Okay, you can put like this, phone. And if you want to make this BR, means we want to go to the next line. So you will have something like this. The other field set is the order details. The order detail means, yeah, you can put any order. Let's say the first is input, and the ID is the variable name is quantity, and then the text area, it is something related with any input from the users or the customers. And we have the column 40 and the rows is 10. So this is the case. You can enlarge and you can resize the text area. So legend means the field set title. You want to specify that this is only for the client details and this is for the order details. There are some input controls. The input control means you sometimes you want to input not only text, but you may include checkbox or other things. So checkbox means you can just select from the option. Radio button, you can select from the option, but the difference between checkbox and radio button, for the checkbox, you can select multiple. You can select more than one. But for the radio button, you can select only one. So that's why in the radio buttons, usually, we can group. We need to make a group because we need to select only one from the group. For example, you need to select whether your title is Mr. or Miss, but you cannot select both. If it is checkbox, so the type will be checkbox. If it is radio button, the type will be radio. And then if they are in the same group, for example, you can select only one city, Seoul or Busan. You cannot select both. Then the type will be radio and the variable name should be the same, which is city, and the value should be different. Okay, so this name, the same name means this is a radio button with the same group. That's it. Oh, I don't have any. Why I have only one? Okay, I have only one. Maybe I need to put more details. Sorry. Right. Okay, if I put this one, good. Okay, so checkbox means you can check. So we can check multiple. I just show only one at this moment. So city you can select. Okay. So you cannot select both. Okay. So you need to select only one. So in this case, you need to make the name of the radio button should be the same, but it shows different value. So it means if I click on this part or if I click on the first radio, it will have the value Seoul. If I click the second one, it has the value Busan. Drop down menus, it means I can select from the options. Okay, let's say I use select select means I can select among the options, and name is the variable name, which is gender. And I have three options, 1, 2, 3. The option 1 is male, the option 2 is female, and other. So maybe the person do not want to share their gender. Can look. Then this is a drop down button, male, female, other. If you are going to submit, it means you are going to process the input from HTML, so we can save it into the database. Okay, so this is about the option, and you need to know what is the meaning by selected. What is selected? It is the default value. So you can change. Let's say the selected, you want to change to other. Then, whenever you start the page, the default will be other. So it depends how you want to define the selected. Okay, so this is the same with the one that I mentioned to you. Because we don't have any submit, we cannot use the submit button at this moment. So other kind of form controls, you can use image or you can use button. For example, maybe let me show you. If you are using submit, like this one. If you are using image, it means you are going to make it as a image type, and then you have the GIF or any fancy picture, so you can modify, not using the submit, but you can make as an image, or you can make as a button. If it is a button, then usually we use it for the JavaScript. We have the button. So the button is originally the same with the submit. Okay. The button, nothing happened here because you need to connect with the JavaScript. The other thing that we need to know is about password. So we can change the type as a password. So if it is a password, of course, you cannot see what is inside. So it is just a kind of star. So the type is password. Or if you want to select multiple products, it means in the first part, the selection, you need to select only one. You can select male or female or other. For this one, the selection can be multiple. So let's say, what do you want to buy? Are you going to buy keyboard or mouse or speakers? So maybe you mentioned, I want to buy 3 of those. Okay, this is possible. You need to put multiple. So in this case, you have keyboard, mouse, and speakers, and you can press Control. When you press Control, so those 3 options can be selected. And the selected is the default value. So if you refresh, then it will go to the keyboard section. Okay, let's take a break for 10 minutes.